live in Western Oregon. This is NBC 16 News at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Governor Kate Brown lifted several restrictions here in Oregon, and while some say it may be too soon, others are rejoicing in their newly added freedom. NBC 16's Cassandra Gutierrez is live in the studio tonight to tell us more about a Eugene nonprofit who is now offering affordable dental services to the community. Cassandra?
Whitebird Clinic has been doing a lot of work for the community during the pandemic. In fact, general dentistry services just opened 3 days ago, and they anticipate an influx of patients to be. The nonprofit serves a low-income and unhoused population on a sliding scale. So depending on how much you can afford to pay for dental services, a dental checkup starts at $40 and goes up from there. It's hugely affordable considering normal dentist cleaning usually costs around $200. One employee tells us their low-cost services are essential for the community.
I think it's very important right now because if you're looking to stay housed, if you're looking to have enough food, and then you have a dental emergency, that could make you decide whether you can pay your rent or you can buy your food.
She says they typically serve about 200 patients a week and have the capacity to serve an additional 50 each week. Meantime, Whitebird Dental Clinic is handing out masks to their patients. Staff is also accepting mask donations. Coming up at 5:30, I'll have an extended report detailing how staff is prepping for the influx of patients, as well as new job opportunities at the dental clinic. Jacqueline?
All right, thank you, Cassandra. So speaking of jobs or lack thereof, senators are returning to Washington to discuss the next coronavirus aid package. Battle lines are being drawn between parties over legal liability protection for businesses and additional funding to state and local governments. We spoke with Senator Jeff Merkley earlier today about this next relief package. Senator Merkley tells us the amount of money allocated to the states is unsatisfactory. He believes this package needs an additional $500 billion to $1 trillion.
States provide vital services, education, transportation, healthcare system. Are we a first world country? Are we a developed country? Or are we some fly-by-night operation that's just going to let key services collapse? We cannot let that happen, so we have to do a lot more support to our state and local governments.
The senator also stated the economic recovery would slow down if businesses fail to adopt sound practices to keep customers and employees from getting sick. Well, while Oregon slowly eases into lifting restrictions by this Sunday, at least 43 states will have completely or partially reopened. This despite not having met federal guidelines of a 14-day decline in new cases. Let's take a look at this map. The green states represent states that are partially reopening. The yellow states are states that will be reopening soon. Gray states remain shut down. Again, Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, and Nevada are working together in reopening their economies as part of the Western States Pact. Moving to D.C., here's a live look at the White House tonight, where President Trump tried to clarify the future of the coronavirus task force. He now says the task force will stay on indefinitely, but there may be some changes to who is on it. The focus will now be more about safety and reopening, as well as vaccines and therapeutics. As Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman shows us, it's been a busy day of determining what's next.
For the first time in its history, New York City shutting the subway system down for cleaning. Another sign of the struggle to make people feel safe outside of their homes.
This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. And it should have never happened. Could have been stopped at the source.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has suggested, based partially on China's lack of transparency, it may have come from a lab in Wuhan, though some experts dismissed the idea.
The American people remain at risk because we do not know. To your point, we don't have certainty about whether it began in the lab or whether it began someplace else.
At the same time, states and cities having their own disagreements on reopening. In Atlanta, the mayor cited the challenges that's posing for already strained first responders.
Now having to break up crowds and remind people to socially distance puts our personnel in danger, and it continues to stretch our resources.
On Capitol Hill, meanwhile, talk of how to spark some financial life during the transition.
Everybody likes to talk about infrastructure. The hard part is how you pay for it. We've been willing to deficit spend a lot of money and increase our debt during an emergency, much like we did in World War II. My office and I and others have been working on some ideas for years, literally.
Here in Washington, lawmakers introduced a bill on Wednesday to forgive student loan debt for healthcare workers who are treating COVID patients. Also proposals now to give hazard pay to essential workers during this crisis. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
Turning back to coronavirus here in Oregon, Oregon Health Authority announces 77 more coronavirus cases and 2 new deaths, making that 2,915 cases and 115 deaths. Despite adding those cases, less than 110 of those people are in intensive care or on ventilators. In our region, Benton County has 40 cases. Lynn County still has the most in our region with 99. 34 total positive tests are related to their Albany facility, where they're looking to reopen, possibly within the next 24 hours. Here in Lane County, we added another case, making it 56 cases now. The new case is a person in their 50s from Eugene Springfield who is medically stable at home. Deschutes County has 81 cases. Douglas County stands at 24. Cases in Coos County remain at 28. All but 1 case is related to the Shutter Creek Correctional Institution. A local care facility is being shut down for alleged improper handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Healthcare at Foster Creek has 117 cases of the virus. Of those cases, 28 people have died. The emergency suspension order says healthcare at Foster Creek failed to implement proper infection practices to prevent the spread. Our sister station in Portland reached out to healthcare at Foster Creek and have not heard back. In a statement, the interim director of the DHS office who licenses facilities said in part, "We have worked on multiple strategies to contain the COVID-19 outbreak at healthcare in Foster Creek and have concluded that moving all residents is mandatory at this stage." It's unclear at this point where residents have been moved to. In developing news tonight, Lane County deputies, along with search and rescue, are looking for a 25-year-old man just off Quartz Creek in eastern Lane County. The Lane County Sheriff's Office says the man was reported missing on Saturday by his sister after she failed to hear from him for several days. We will continue to keep you updated as we get more information. We do have an update now on an officer-involved shooting from April. 54-year-old Scott Gardner is being charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, assault, resisting arrest, unlawful use of a firearm, and several other charges. According to police, on April 13th, Gardner barricaded himself in his townhouse on Westbrook Way with a rifle and allegedly fired shots from inside. After a nearly 12-hour-long standoff, he was shot after he came outside. Eugene police say on Monday, Gardner was arraigned by the Lane County Circuit Court judge in his hospital room, where they say he is expected to stay for the next several weeks. The movement to make Southern Oregon part of Idaho is working to make its way through the region. While it has run into some hurdles in other counties, Douglas County is going strong. NBC 16's David Ochoa has an update on their progress.
The Move Oregon's Border movement is working hard to get their measure on local ballots in Southern Oregon counties. They're gathering signatures in 9 counties, with Douglas County leading the way.
I can't overemphasize, it is a dramatic difference between Douglas County and all the other counties that are collecting petitions.
The organization held a rally in Douglas County in early March. McCarter says they have about 900 signatures there. 11 other counties have rejected the group's applications.
Normally the rejections are, they consider the initiative petition request as administrative and not legislative. And so if it's an administrative thing, it's got to be done through the county commissioners.
Move Oregon's Border has filed circuit court challenges in 5 of those counties, with plans for more to come.
I guess it's a court case, but it's a review. So we're asking the judge to review the determination based on the counties who have already accepted it. And if you've got a number of counties who have already accepted it, then it's up to the judge to say, I think there's justification for this county to accept it also.
Coos County is one of the counties that has rejected the initial petition. McCarter says they'll probably go straight to Coos County commissioners to ask them to put it on the ballot. Despite the rejections and the Oregon governor's stay-at-home order making it harder to collect signatures, McCarter is optimistic.
I think if we can get one county's the commissioners putting it on the ballot, then I think there's a domino effect there that other counties who have not got a petition going will put it on the ballot measure.
The deadline is in August, so with only a few months left to get the required number of signatures, they're ramping up their efforts. Reporting from Douglas County, I'm David Ochoa.
Another setback in an effort to build a new Lane County courthouse as plans are once again on hold. The Board of Commissioners voted to postpone planning efforts, and they won't be pursuing a bond measure this year because the pandemic has created economic challenges for people and businesses across the community. The county will look for more opportunities in the future to replace the current courthouse, an effort that has been underway since 2015. Well, coming up next on NBC 16 at 5, an Airbnb disaster, but who is to blame? You be the judge.